I hope you enjoy it. They're backed by popular demand. People love
Right.
They loved it. So we thought it's a good program for February and a boring month.
Great weather.
Yeah. So we're ready to get started. And this is Frank.
I'm Frank, this is
Okay.
Greg.
Hi, Greg.
We own Webster Jewelry and Coin right up the street here, so.
Yeah. And this is his help, JJ.
Thanks, Jim.
So
Sorry,
these are all things from their store, and their store is right on Main Street. And I'll let them tell their story and entice you. Tell us what the latest collection item is.
Latest collection item, the hottest item out there right
Yeah,
now?
that we should keep
That we should keep. No, great, well.
or sell.
Or sell. Yes,
Yeah,
want to make
the whole
money.
thing is you wanna sell stuff.
So do you, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, we own the Webster Jewelry and Coin Exchange, and we also own a shop next door called Webster Antiques and Pop Culture, which is basically popular culture, the hottest items out, what people are interested in buying and selling today. Mainly old toys, comic books. I would say those are probably the two of the hottest things out right now, huh?
I think so, yeah. Comic books are really hot right now.
Anything kids played with.
The pandemic brought all of it back. It really did, because people got bored at home, so they started collecting again. It was weird.
The prices just went through the roof. Now they're kind of settling back down on a lot of stuff, but I mean collectibles like coins, stamps, even costume jewelry now has been going crazy. It's one of the new hotter things out there. We've been exploring a new way of selling on a website called Whatnot, which we do live auctions now, right out of the store, which are kind of fun. You know, it's kind of interesting because you get to actually interact with people live versus eBay where you're just selling stuff and listing it, somebody bids on it, you don't really know who you're dealing with. With Whatnot, it's kind of fun because you can interact and talk, make some jokes, and make some good sales,
Yeah.
new connections.
Can you hear
So it's
him?
pretty fun. So yeah, no, we want to thank the Webster Museum for letting us do this. It definitely raised some awareness for our store. We gained a lot of new business, and we really appreciate it. So
And it's a lot of fun.
yeah,
You know,
Can
this
you
is
hear 'em
really
better?
cool, actually.
No, I can hear it. Okay.
we got into this probably back, oh god,
94.
yeah, 1994, right out of high school for me.
Out of Xerox for me.
Yeah, you were, what, you were,
I was an engineer at Xerox
yeah,
for
you
years.
hurt your hand. Our
Yeah.
father had just recently passed away, and we were helping my mom transition from Penfield to Venetia's Lake, where we had a cottage down there. So we helped her out that whole summer, and we were doing stuff in the Avon flea market, we were selling baseball cards, comic books, all kinds of stuff. And we were kind of, you know, meeting some new connections at different comic book stores locally. And at the end of the summer, Mom, she's like, you guys helped us out all summer, moved everything down to the cottage, I'm gonna give you some money and you can go invest in a new business. And she did. We took $5,000, went down to a comic store and walked in there and said to the guy, we really love this shop, we know that you are going through some hard times and you're considering closing, we'd like to buy it from you. The guy took the $5,000, walked out.
Oh.
We didn't know what, we had a key, the phone number, a key, he introduced us to the landlord, and he was gone in like 20
And an
minutes.
air conditioner. He left the
Yeah.
air conditioner.
Did it work? That was in July of that year. And then at the end of the year, we paid my mom back, and we were kicking it. Yeah, we really did well.
I think we had something like $9 left. And I said, what do you want to do now? And he said, let's go get something to eat. And when we got back, there was two guys waiting at the door, so it worked out well.
Yeah, no, then we started advertising, and that was the big thing. As soon as we started putting out advertisements in the Democrat and Chronicle at the time, or
The Yellow Pages.
Yellow Pages was huge back then. Of course, that's not existent now. And we've had to kind of roll with the times, especially with advertising, and kind of like as the Yellow Pages and paper went out, started going to the internet, started doing eBay right when it first started. Then of course the websites, and you know you got to stay right on top of everything. If you're not, you're going to fall behind. So.
He's the right on top. I don't like change. You know what I mean? I like everything to stay the same. But it doesn't
He's the
work.
guy that hangs out in the store and talks to everybody. I'm never there. I'm not good at talking to people. People don't like me. That's okay. I love him. I just go with the flow. I do the paperwork. So we have fun. It's a great business. We don't ever plan on closing. So
No.
you know, even though our kids don't like it.
Yeah. Isn't that the strangest thing, though?
We always say collectibles skip a generation.
Well, it's just certainly skipped my kids' generation, that's for sure.
My daughter likes to watch the Whatnot auctions just because she gets a kick out of it, Uncle Greg. But that's it. She has no interest in the jewelry, has no interest in the coins, you know. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a jewelry store, and I got the only girl that doesn't wear
Yeah,
it
right.
at all.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna complain.
But yeah, so that's kind of the story. That's kind of how we started this, and yeah, we just love it. It's fun. So
Any questions at all?
Not yet.
Oh, that's good.
Did
Hopefully
you tell
yes,
us what
no.
to collect now?
Tell you what to collect, well,
Yeah.
I mean, when you say that, what should you hold on to today
Yes,
that we think is
right.
gonna be
That's
worth
what I
something in the
mean.
future? Well, I mean, collectibles in general, people buy things they had or remember as kids, so it's always changing.
Nostalgia?
Absolutely.
That's about it, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, when I first got into this in the 1990s, and I was getting into old toys, tin toys were a huge thing. Old wind-up tin, friction
Cast iron,
tin,
too.
cast iron, things from the 1920s, 30s, 40s. Because in 1990, those guys were 50 years old who had it when they were younger.
50, 60.
Now tin toys are worth about a quarter of what they're worth. I'm probably one of the only guys that collects the damn things, because there's nobody that remembers tin toys as kids anymore, or even cast iron toys, or any pressed steel toys. I appreciate it, I love the art, I like the quality of how they were built back then, and that's what's different about today, everything's just plastic and cheap. So, that's why I like it. There are people like me who still do appreciate it and like it, but the prices go right down. So what's hot today, right now, 1980s toys. That's the hottest
Yes.
thing on the market. It's action figures, He-Man, G.I. Joe, Star Wars,
Those are from
Transformers.
all your kids, you know,
It
stuff.
is.
Because they're old enough now to purchase it back, because they enjoyed it when
That's
they
who's
were
got
a
money,
kid.
40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and they go back and buy it.
Generations then.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah.
100%, that's true.
And
I mean,
another thing that I realize is, if you threw it away as a kid, it is now worth money.
Yeah.
Anything that everybody threw out is now worth money.
Beanie Babies are worth nothing, because everybody that bought them and collected them still has them, and they're all in mint condition. You know, it's the stuff that was meant to be thrown out, or meant to just be played with once and tossed. That's the stuff that's really got good value today.
How about Hess trucks?
Well, Hess trucks were mass-produced, and a lot of times they still did hold on to them and collect them. And so, I mean, they all are usually in really good shape. We get a lot of calls with people who come in to sell us Hess trucks, and we always are constantly researching them and updating our pricing on them, but they don't sell for a lot. Hess trucks, actually, the first Hess truck was 1964. Those are
Yeah,
worth
so
good money.
80s and back,
Yeah.
I think, have the value still.
They'll still command a buck, yeah. The very first Hess truck is probably worth about $2,000. That's 1964 tanker made by
Wow.
Marx, yeah. That's hard to find. In 1966, they introduced a boat, so it was called the Hess Voyager.
That I like.
Oh,
It's a really
wow.
nice piece, very detailed. That's worth about $1,500 in the box. As it went up from there, the 67, 68, 69, they dropped down in the several $100 range. And once it gets into the 70s, they kind of flatten out. And then once you get in the 90s, they're about $5 a piece. So it's hard to sell those. And you get a lot of calls on them, and I don't like to feel like I'm insulting someone with an offer. So we generally, respectfully turn those down from the 90s to the present, so.
But if you do have them and need to sell them, come around Christmas time,
Yeah,
that's the
that's the only time
only
they sell.
Mm.
Put 'em on eBay, $10 a piece, something like that, so.
What about like Matchbox cars?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge collector of Matchbox cars. The older the better. They started back in the 1950s, and they started off with gray wheels. That's the identifying factor for Matchbox cars. You find the gray wheel cars, those are the ones worth the money.
Huh.
They turned them into the black wheeled cars probably around 1961, and they called it like a transition era. So sometimes the old cars would they would have to use up those bodies, so they put the black wheels on the old cars, and those are transition cars, and they're very rare, because there's not that many, as they did that. So, yeah, Matchbox cars are worth good money, but condition's a
Hot
huge
Wheels is
factor.
better.
Yeah, Hot Wheels are a little more sought after, but Matchbox cars, good money right up until around 78, 79, then they became, again, a little bit more mass-produced, so. But condition's a big factor, and some are very rare, so, yeah. Same thing with Hot Wheels cars. Hot Wheels cars started around 1967, and they had a red line on the outside of the tire, which was similar to like you would think on a white wall tire, and that red line would definitely resemble something of value, because you see that, and we actually call them red lines. So people would say, do you have any Hot Wheels cars? Only if you want red lines, that's where the value is. So, yeah. So, that's our main thing. I keep talking about toys because that was my thing. That's what I like. That's what I collect. And a lot of people just that's one of the top collectibles today right now. So,
You mentioned coins,
yes.
like silver dollars
Absolutely.
or.
Coins are our main business. That's what we basically buy and sell the most of out of our store. American currency, pre-1965, American coins were silver,
Yeah.
90%. Obviously, you got your money just in the silver content. Doesn't even have to be numismatically valuable.
And
Going on.
because silver is so high right now, I'm sorry, but
No.
it's because
Yeah.
silver is so high right now, like you said, the numismatic value on some of the old coins disappeared because the silver value is worth more than
Oh,
the
right.
collectible
Sure,
value is.
exactly.
Oh.
And we try to tell people sometimes, hold on to this for now because the price is low, But right now, since the pandemic, the price has been very steady. It's a very solid price for gold and silver right now.
Coins
And,
is just a huge, huge variety in market. There's proof sets that were put out by the
Yeah,
US
there's
Mint.
just about everything.
There's commemoratives that were put out by the US Mint. There's just standard American currency that was issued. There's, every year when they released quarters, dimes, half dollars, pennies by the US Mint, which they still do today, they still limit certain years for certain reasons that nobody really knows why. And those are the coins that are worth money because there's less minted, so.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you ever see those blue books, remember we all kind of grew up
Yeah.
with those
Yeah.
things and you go
Yeah.
through them? They actually say on the bottom of each coin how many were minted of that particular year.
Yeah.
So say 1.6 million or 375,000. So when you get down below a million or so, you're gonna have some pretty good
Those are
value.
your empty spots in the
Yeah,
book.
yeah. Whenever you bring them in, there's always the empty spots. Those are the rare ones. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just a huge, huge, huge variety of coins. So I mean, anything in particular that you want to know about, like paper money. There's also a lot of interest in that, depending upon how old it is. They made different notes, different years, different color seals, different serial numbers, just so many different factors with coins.
So even if they're highly circulated, I mean, obviously the value goes down as
Oh,
it's
yeah,
circulated,
no,
but
absolutely.
If they're highly circulated, depending on what year you're talking about, you still got your silver value. So that's where the silver still is going to have a
Yeah,
factor.
because it's all about weight at that point. Once silver hits a certain point, the peak, it's all about the weight of the coin. Because, even a normal silver dollar, Frank, what is it, $18 in
Yeah,
silver
around
alone?
17 or $18
Even
in
if the
silver.
face is washed right off.
Yeah,
Really?
exactly. Now, if you
Just
got a
Okay.
nice condition. Yep.
And even, that goes for like sterling silver, silverware,
Oh, yeah,
Flatware,
flatware's
yeah.
huge right
Yeah.
now.
flatware.
We probably buy 3 or
Nobody
4
likes
sets
to
a week.
polish it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, out of our 2
Nobody
shops.
will polish it.
Yeah, no, the kids don't want it
They
anymore.
don't
Nobody
know.
wants
Yeah.
to deal
Can't
with
put it
that.
in the dishwasher. Yeah,
And I'll
can't
tell
put it in the dishwasher, I was told.
Oh, yeah, right. And it gets tarnished. It smells like rotten eggs when you pull it out of the thing. Everything about it is kind of unattractive, especially to today's younger people who want certain decor. They don't care. They'll go to
Forget it.
Walmart and
Yeah.
get
They don't
stainless
care
steel and they're
until-
done, yeah.
Yeah,
Famous legs.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we buy a lot of flatware sets, probably 3 or 4 between the 2 shops on a weekly basis. And it's good value in it because of, it's pretty solid, heavy stuff. So a fork is usually 1.5 ounces, which equates to about $25 in silver weight, so. Yeah.
Okay.
Or one
One
fork.
For like 1 fork, yep.
Yeah.
So when you guys buy it, is somebody then buying it from you in that condition, or are you melting it down? What happens
There's a
at that point?
process involved in that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a little confusing. So he grabs it because once we buy it, we can't sell it for 14 days. Only because it goes on a police website. The police look and see if it was stolen from anywhere.
Oh, interesting.
And then they say, okay, you're good to sell.
After
Then
the 2
he
weeks.
grabs it and he sorts it all over the place. And all of a sudden, these type of things disappear and go into his house. And, and then.
I am more of a collector than him, I will say that.
Yeah.
No, really though, we're issued what's called a buy-sell license by the North County Sheriff's Department. We have to get fingerprinted every year, we gotta get photographed every year, we have to have background checks done every year, and we gotta pay for all that, which is not cheap. And it's every year, and I'm like, we have 1 licensing officer, I'm like, nothing happened in the last 365 days, well, I gotta pay another, to get this done, it's a money grab, I think.
New York State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, so they do require us to hold everything we buy for 2 weeks. We pay right on the spot, but we gotta hold everything, so we always got that 2-week lag of everything we're buying, so it can add up, but as soon as that 2 weeks is up, then we can go ahead and sell it off, and that's when we kind of research things, kind of look for things that are worth more than scrap metal, and that's when we kind of sort it, sift it, put it through the store, retail it out, put it on auction, put it on eBay, that kind of stuff, so.
What
So-
about pewter, is that,
Not yet.
not
Not
yet?
really, yeah, there's really not a lot of precious metals that we buy aside from gold, silver, palladium, platinum, even copper now is kind of getting up there. A copper penny from 1982 and before is worth more than a penny in copper, but it's illegal to melt it down. So nothing you can really do about it except sell it to people in Canada, I guess. Canadians on eBay are buying it like crazy. So, yeah, so coins, to go back to that, it's just,
Okay.
that is a huge part of our business.
Yeah, I have a story for you. The Webster Museum has a barn sale every year. And so that's how I discovered these guys, because people were donating their silverware, or a collection of silver. And we didn't know if anything was silver or not. So I just went up there, took it, and he sorts through it, no, anyway. And then he takes about 5 or 6 pieces, maybe more, and puts them on a weight machine, right?
Yep.
And he
Weigh 'em up in
weighs
20
them, and
ounces.
then he gave me $140.
And then she started coming every day. And then I was like, wait, I'm going down, and then I went to her house. But no, it was really cool to see all that stuff in the barn, that's fun.
I know.
I don't know if you've ever been to her house, but it's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah, I worked at it.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
That is wild, yeah.
Are you having it again? Excuse me, I didn't.
I don't know, we have to decide, because it's a lot of work.
I know.
A lot of
it is.
man hours, yeah.
Yeah,
'cause
we
I-
need to get a lot of volunteers more.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, yeah.
What about like paper bills?
Yeah, paper money's definitely got a lot of value to it. Again, there's such a huge variety. It really depends on the age, the color of the seal, and again, you probably might hear things about like serial numbers and stuff like that. That's kind of another whole different separate category of collecting paper money. That's more like error notes and, I mean, if you think about it, like the US Mint issues paper money every year, and they start at 0, and they go right up with the serial numbers. So if you find 00009, there's 9 numbers. If you find all zeros, that bill right off the mint is going to be worth a fortune because it's a rare serial number. People collect them for different reasons, like birth dates. You'll look at 00005041962. If you happen to get a bill that shows that, it's called a birthday note. We don't get into all that stuff. It's a funny, interesting category of paper money, but we stick to just the rare good stuff. So again, it depends on the seal, depends on the age, and every year condition's a big
Huge.
factor. Yeah, like in the 1920s, they had larger notes. We call them horse blankets, and
Those
they
are
were
really neat.
yeah, real hard to find, real attractive, a lot of nice design on them.
And if you hold them up to the light, you can actually see the hair
Yeah,
inside the note.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, paper money. I mean, it really depends on exactly what you got, but it can definitely have some really good value. Oh,
That's
that's
exactly what
that's a
it
horse
is.
blanket. That's exactly what it
I
is.
knew that was going in the
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Can you address something, tell us a little bit about pearls? Because I know there are different qualities and
Mhm.
different grades and.
Yeah, we don't have a ton of knowledge on pearls. It's very
Okay.
difficult. They're not very sought after right now. We've tried to learn about them. Our way of learning is when we bought something at first that we were unfamiliar with, we would try to find a specialist and go learn from that person or take it to them and say, hey, we got pearls, are you interested? And everybody says no. Nobody wants pearls. Nobody taught us anything. Nobody taught us how to really tell what's real and what's not, aside from the fact that they're never the same in shape. And that's how we would tell, oh, it must be a real freshwater pearl bracelet.
So years ago, when you got married, they always wore one strand
Yeah.
of pearls. And back when we first did this, we could sell them very quickly because everybody's getting married. And then all of a sudden they
Years.
stopped doing that. So that was our only outlet, was people that were getting married on the pearls.
Yeah.
And we have
Yeah.
beautiful sets and we couldn't give them away.
Yep. So now we turn them down now, so I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't really answer your question much on that, but aside from to say that you'd probably be disappointed if you got a whole nice set of pearls and you're really gonna get good money for them unless you find that right person.
I
But it's
once-
always about finding the right person.
I once asked a specialist how to tell it. He told me to rub it on my teeth. I said, that's
Yeah,
it.
bite it, yeah, bite it.
Done.
Done.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So,
Okay.
What about
Yeah.
like porcelain dolls?
Not so hot. Again, it's one of those things where you think of it this way, if things were made to be collected and made to be saved, and the chances are that they're in the same condition today as they were when they were originally introduced or issued, they're probably not gonna have a significant monetary value. Unless it's limited, in
Interesting.
some way, yeah.
Yeah, it's a different way to
Because
look
like
at
I
it.
said, what makes things worth money today is they're not around anymore, the rarity
unless
of it.
they're from the 1800s, you know what I mean? Then it's a whole different.
Right, yeah, well, they didn't really do the porcelain though, it was more like a
No,
bisque.
like a bisque.
Yeah, and they're like a lot of German independent makers for dolls, but even then, a lot of them are under $100. And we're talking 140-year-old dolls, it's crazy, so it's difficult to move those. Yeah.
What about, like communications equipment, like an old telegraph key?
A lot of that stuff, I love that stuff, I like the look of it. Whenever we get it in, I try to research, I try to do some,
Displays it all.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
I end
it
up
is.
displaying it, but it's not easy sales, I mean, we've had some CV equipment, some old lollipop microphones and different things like that, and old console microphones that would sit on the counter that you would do you know, like, think of it like in a radio show back in the day or something.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff definitely still has some value on eBay. We've sold some pieces, you know, from different companies for $100, $200 in that range. You know, but that's our only real experience with communications equipment, to be honest with you, aside from maybe like World War II type stuff.
How
And,
about a vacuum tube that's still in a can from, I think it's 1925, it's a deep forest.
yeah,
REM.
we've had a ton of that stuff. Yeah, we've dealt with a lot of that stuff. I collect old radios.
He hoards everything,
Oh,
he doesn't collect anything.
No, I collect old radios. Yeah. It's a guy locally in Webster here that used to restore them. He was phenomenal, and he's done a lot of work for me. So I'm familiar with some old old radio tubes and things of that nature. But again, it's one of those things. You got to find the right person. You got to find guys who are restoring them. Those are the guys that need them. They actually use them. To be honest with you, not a lot of them really just display them, but they use them, you know, to repair chassis. So.
Oh, are cameras coming back, the old cameras? I
The
heard
ones with the
that.
bellows.
Huh?
Those are the ones with the bellows, like the accordion
Oh,
that
yeah?
come out. That's the kind of stuff that has some value to it. The old German cameras, you know, early American stuff. But you know, a lot of the brownies. Everybody says, "I got a brownie or a Polaroid, original Polaroid." Can't really give that stuff away, unfortunately. It's tough to
Yeah.
move. Yeah. And the internet definitely helps us. I mean, we always say what we know. A lot about nothing and a little bit about everything, right? So I mean, that's,
Right.
all we do is we pick up our phone and we research. And every time we research something, we learn about it, and then we'll kind of remember a little bit about it. And that's how we kind of gained our experience. And I can't really say expertise in anything except for maybe comic books for me and pocket watches and jewelry for him.
I remember buying this stuff years ago, I didn't even know you still had it.
Oh, this stuff? Yeah, I brought this from home. I actually brought this because this is kind of like the new way of collecting things, which kind of stinks in my opinion, but they grade everything nowadays. And when they grade something, like the comic books or
You
this,
can't touch it.
you can't touch it.
I
Can't
don't
use
like it.
It's a Pac-Man game. It's literally the original Atari Pac-Man. And it's encased with a grade, and the grade is 8.0, so it's a nice high grade, and people will buy it for its condition and for the
Let's
fact
put it
that
on a
it's-
shelf
Yeah,
and display it, and that's
How about my
ridiculous.
Atari machine, would you buy that?
probably. With original Atari, I probably would. Yeah, we grew up
I
on
think
that.
so.
Yeah.
1982.
How about a Radio Shack color computer?
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember the Radio Shacks. They were called TRS 80s.
TRS-80s.
We used to call them Trash 80s growing up. TRS 80s.
Remember that
Show.
sound? And they had to wait a half an hour for the
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
to come up. Yeah.
No, I think those, we haven't had any TRS 80s come through this door, through the door for us, but I guarantee they probably got some good value to them.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
bought
yeah.
some early Apple computers that we had no idea were as valuable as they were. And we would put it on eBay for $1 to start and say, let's get rid of this thing, and it would hit up $1,000. So, I mean, some of those, in this, small, they were very weird back then, so, yeah. A lot of times, the things you think are worth the least are usually worth the most. People bring in stuff, oh, not so much, not so much. Then they'll bring in, then they'll say, well, I got this at home. It's like, well, that's where the money is, that Halloween costume or, that lunchbox. Nobody thinks lunchboxes are worth money, but they are. Crazy stuff like that.
Do you know anything about wrought iron pans, frying pans?
You mean like cast iron?
Yeah,
Yeah, the old Griswold, it
That's
depends
what
on the
I mean, yeah,
name.
Griswold.
Yeah, I mean, again,
And they're numbered on the
Yeah,
back.
I know.
a lot of people still use them, and that's why they buy them, because they were so well made. Everything back then was well made, better made than it is today. And that's why people collect things from that era and that time frame, is because you can't find that quality in any work, craftsmanship today at all. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things where there's a million different cast iron
Yeah, I know.
pans. There's several different companies that made them, different sizes, condition, everything's a factor. But generally, you find a nice one in nice shape, you're $50 to $100. So, yeah.
How about watches?
Yeah, I mean, we do a ton with watches. My brother Greg knows quite a bit about them. He always tries to steal them every time a good one comes in the door,
I collect them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like them. Yeah, I'm not even wearing it, it's Sunday. But, yeah, no, I like them. I think they're really cool. And if you open up the back of them, some of the real old ones, that he brought some today,
These
if
are
they're
just
still
pocket
ticking,
watches, but-
it's amazing to watch what happens just to make that thing go around. If you open up the back, it's crazy.
Yeah, the intricate detail and the craftsmanship is insane. And even to get one repaired today costs more than the value of the watch itself. I mean, it's so much goes in. There's only 2 places around town that do it. So, any specific questions about a watch or any particular watch?
No, I was just wondering, like, what types of, people don't wear watches nowadays,
I know,
except
that's the
for,
thing.
you got a
Everybody wears-
computer on it.
Yeah. Yeah, vintage wind-up watches, that's what we only buy, we don't buy quartz watches. A quartz watch is basically a battery-operated watch, we generally don't buy those. They don't hold their resale value, they're cool, you know, but you buy a
The
new.
wind-ups are
Yeah.
where,
The wind-ups held their value, and they're usually precious metal, and they just have a better look to them and better made, and that's what we collect. And the ranges in price could be anywhere from $20, $30 for a vintage watch up into the tens of thousands. So it really depends.
Do manufacturers make a difference?
Manufacturers-
absolutely,
Yep.
yep.
Obviously, Rolex is one of the top. Omega, great name for watches back in the day. I mean, Elgin.
Elgin.
Waltham, several different companies and manufacturers made them,
Okay,
so.
that's good to know.
And some of the cool ones, they're automatics, all you gotta do is move your wrist and it winds up.
Got a
It's
Rolex,
pretty neat.
we bought a Rolex in our Penfield shop before I realized that. And it was one of the most embarrassing things in my life, actually. Because, like I said, everything's a learning experience, right? So we buy a Rolex for the gold weight, which was quite a bit. And darn thing wasn't working. So I took it up to Fernari up here, right? And I go in there, I was like, I need a battery in this thing because it is not working. He goes, he takes it off my hand, he goes, here you go. I'm like, what'd you just do? He goes, it's automatic. He goes, the way you get a Rolex to work is you just shake your hand. That's it. You know, it doesn't need a battery and a Rolex. I'm like, so now I know. That was years ago, all right?
On the pocket watches, is there certain brands or vintages or?
They're all different kinds, there really are, all different jewels, all different kinds.
Yeah, you look for
Every,
jewels.
every one of them has a different history, like he's got a tank watch, that's pretty neat.
We call it tank watches just because it's weight and,
You know, it's a big fat one, you know what I mean? And a lot of them, if you pop the back off, you can actually see when it was worked on because all of the old watchmakers etched their numbers in the back of the watch. Nobody
Cool.
knows that either. So you can see how many times it was worked on way back then and actually who even worked on it. So it's pretty neat. They got great history in it.
yeah, watches are really interesting.
Because they handed them down from generation to generation because it was important to have, you know. And if you're lucky, you can get a railroad watch.
Yeah, they made railroad
Those are
watches.
really
you
cool,
know,
too.
different types. But, yeah, definitely with watches, an interesting bit of information is the cases were generally made by companies like Waltham or Elgin, like you would see, but the inside parts were usually homemade. And a lot of different individual watchmakers,
Oh my
Italy and the US, they would
That's
make
interesting.
and then label their jewels, but they would just buy the cases from Waltham or Elgin or whatnot, so that even the faces they could buy from that those companies. So it's like a lot of them are, that's why you don't know, like we don't even know if they're gold half the time, we have to test them, just because of the fact you don't know who made it, you know, how they made it, what materials they used in making it, so it's a lot goes into pocket watches. But again, the ranges in price go anywhere from $20 to tens of thousands, and we've seen them all. You know, we've had opportunities to buy some really expensive ones.
Yeah, we had
So,
a pretty neat one.
Yep, so, really interesting, and again, it's like anything, you know, any category, any genre of collectibles, you got your base, and you got your sky, and you know, and you don't really know, what makes things rare is there's not many of them out there, like I said.
Okay, if it's worth 10,000, how much do you buy it for?
Honestly, if we bought one item, I always say this, because somebody said to me the other day,
It's a
said,
great question, though.
it is,
It really
and
is.
here's a true, honest to God answer, like with comic, I keep referring to comics, because that's my thing. Someone said, well, if you get a Spider-Man #1 that's worth $10,000, what would you pay for it? And I said, well, and they said, if you had 10,000 $1 comics, what would you pay for it? The 10,000 $1 comics, I'd probably pay $1,000 for it, because I gotta work my butt off, and I gotta sell them for $1 a piece, and it's gonna take a while. The Spider-Man 1, worth 10,000, I'll pay 9,000 for it. The reason is, because it's one sale, it's one item, it's easy to advertise, it's super sought after, hot as heck. You know, so I mean, if we got a watch that we know is worth 10,000, I'll pay 9,500 for it. I don't, as long as I know.
You know you can sell
Yeah,
it.
I'm not gonna get hurt, right, I'm not gonna pay 10,500 for it,
Right.
but I'll pay 500 under. You know, now if you bring a collection of them in, and they're all kind of broken up, and they need work, or they, you know, and they're worth 10,000 as a whole, we'll probably be more on the 3,000-4,000 range. You know, so really we have to make that judgment call when people bring things into the store. And we do a large volume of stuff, and we can handle large items like that, but we really have to be careful not to overpay for something and then get stuck with it, which has happened. So, with diamonds especially, we don't like diamonds.
Have you made
So
mistakes?
keep all your diamonds. Oh my gosh, we
He
made a
makes
mistake.
them all, not me.
I made a mistake last week. Yeah, so, I'm a diamond, so yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Diamonds are very, very difficult. They,
And why are they so difficult?
well, because there's
Everybody sees them differently. Everybody.
color cut clarity, they're never graded properly. The companies that grade them overgrade them because they're the companies that are selling them. There's only one very good diamond grading company, it's called GIA. It's the only one you want, but there's very few certs with GIAs because it's too expensive. There's so many lab-grown diamonds now,
Yeah.
and that is just a
The
market that's
Source,
just
K
killing,
Jewelers,
killing the
they're
earth.
pumping out these man-made diamonds, and they pass.
They pass the
every
test.
single,
perfect.
electronic test that we have. Our machines, they go right through them.
We have to keep buying new testers because they're, no, we do, and they're expensive as heck, and I'm done with it.
He did it last
They're not
week.
required
He did
to
it
like
last
engrave
week.
something on those?
I'm sorry?
They're not required to like engrave something on
They are
those?
required, lab-grown companies are
Yeah.
required to, but there was, what, 10,000 that got released last year where the company didn't
Didn't
do
do
it, so
it.
there's 10,000 floating around.
Wow.
And I mean, it's a scam, it's horrible.
Wow.
Yeah, there's all kinds of weird talk about one company buying up all the
Now
lab-grown
you got
diamonds
him
in the
going.
world, yeah, I don't wanna talk about it.
He just got it last week. He said, what, he was on the phone, he said, well, what do you mean? I said, oh, here we go.
Well, it wasn't
What do you mean it's not
ridiculous,
real?
but it's-
I said, there you go.
Yeah, everybody leaves, like, whenever it deals with diamonds, it's a lose-lose for everybody. Like, we don't like
Yeah.
buying them, and nobody likes the price. So it's like, makes us look bad, and they're not happy, you know, so it's like, we just like, forget it, you know. Every now and then you get that person that comes in and says, I got a divorce, I don't care what you want, just take this thing from, you know, and then we'll be fair with them, and we'll make a couple $100 on the thing when it's all said and done, and everybody's happy in that situation, but it's not often, so. Diamonds.
I see some old magazines here. Are they worth, what's the
Well, what
value?
kind of magazines you got?
Yeah,
he's
for
got
sure.
comics.
Those are actually comic
Comics?
books, yep.
Well, what about magazines like Popular Mechanics? That's, you know, something like back in the
Space covers,
sixties?
space covers are good.
Yeah.
I like the
Anything
space
science
covers.
fiction.
Science fiction.
Oh,
But generally, like National Geographics, you know, Popular Mechanics, things of that nature, not very sought after. Teen magazines, you know, girly magazines, early Playboys, things like that are worth a fortune, you know.
Wow.
So it really depends on the content, the covers, you know, men's magazines where they did like, you know,
Adventure magazines.
Adventure magazines, yeah, you know, made for boys, you know, where they did like kind of partial comics, partial stories, like Boy Scout stuff. That stuff's worth good money. But the common stuff that we remember, like you were saying, National Geographic, Popular Mechanics, that stuff just doesn't sell well. We'll still buy it. We like that stuff. You know, we'll sift through it, take it to the flea market. And it's about 10 different levels of how we sell. You know, all the way down from the flea market to the live auction, to the store and retail, to eBay, to customers, to friends, other collectors, dealers, wholesale, you know, you name it. So we have a lot of different outlets for things.
Like I've got a magazine that's Looker Life, and it's of Robert Kennedy on the cover, and it was the date on the cover of the magazine is the date he was assassinated.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I just got a call the other day with some newspapers from when Kennedy was assassinated. And, you know, again, there's a lot of that stuff out there. And I mean, there's always people that will collect political stuff like that, historical dates and things from newspapers, magazines, etc. But again, it's not a significant drawback in the value. You know, we've seen things like that, like you're saying, you know, $10, $20, $30, what someone's willing to pay for it, you know, but there's a lot of it out there, so,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, I just saw this in there.
Was that Ladies' Home Journal?
Yeah, this woman dropped that off when Rosemary.
Who did
was
it?
here. A lady dropped it off when we were here, Rosemary and I.
So, we haven't taken it in yet either.
Isn't it? They're huge. These things are, I mean, can you imagine reading that? It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, again,
What year is it?
oh gosh, 1946.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's actually in nice shape too. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if something like this, unless there's some content that I'm unfamiliar with that came out in this particular issue.
Uh-huh.
So it's what, $10, $15,
I would
something like
say,
that? Yeah.
Between $10 and $20.
That's worth it.
Well, look at that, that's such a cool cover.
Yeah, it is.
Well, and the illustrations in it are cool.
Absolutely.
Are they?
Absolutely.
But see, there's already 2 people in the room that like it.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we hope
Going,
for every
going,
auction.
gone,
That's right. Go against each other. What was, which ones have the, oh boy, drawing a blank. Norman
can't-
Rockwell?
Yeah,
I think it was Look magazine did them, and those are relatively sought after. Yeah,
I suppose,
the
doesn't
1950s, 60s stuff. So,
there's so much stuff that's popular now, though. Jeez.
yeah.
Anything from toys to, like you said, the uglier the costume jewelry is, the more it's worth.
Really?
It's strange. The
Oh, yeah,
big chunky
yeah.
stuff that you would
People
say,
love
oh
it.
my
Crazy.
god.
There's stuff from your
I
brother
love it.
downstairs.
I would say though, the number one thing that we probably deal in the most, that we take in the most and we sell the most would be coins.
Yeah.
That would definitely be,
We do jewelry too.
Yep.
We do pull in a lot of silver and gold.
a lot of young people, we have a lot of young customers that deal in coins. Not, well, I don't deal, they buy coins. They actually deal in them too, but
They think that the American dollar is gonna go down to nothing, and we're gonna go to Danny Wegmans with silver bars.
No, we
And,
really, that's a truth, like, people really think this,
Truly.
we don't even consider a conspiracy theory.
We're gonna go with the golden bar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
but
they're
that's why
saying.
so they come into the shop, and they'll ask straight up, should I buy a 1 ounce gold coin, or should I buy a smaller fractional piece of gold? Because when I need to shave it, how am I gonna? No, true story.
No,
I mean,
that's-
yeah,
that's-
I mean,
I
and
get
they're
it
dead
almost.
serious.
But I
Yeah.
wondered the same thing, I said, how the heck you gonna spend a
I know,
bar of
it's like, how
gold?
do you determine what a loaf of bread is worth, man? I guess go with the grams, higher premium on it, I don't know. You know, what the heck, I mean, that's not, you know, I don't think I see that nowhere.
But honestly, every week I get that question, I really do. And
I
can always
love
tell
Art
who it's gonna
Deco.
be.
And do you get a jewelry in with, do you take the jewelry in the Art Deco?
Oh, we definitely
wow,
do,
yes.
I love the style myself.
I love
you know
that
what I mean?
style too.
We get a lot of jars with that style, the old tube radio, or the old radios have
Yeah.
that old style. I mean, I love it myself, and when you find that stuff, it is pretty collectible. You know,
Yeah,
you can
it's-
advertise it using those terms, they usually go pretty well, 1940s, 50s stuff, definitely.
So you've all brought something for them to look at, right?
Oh, okay, cool.
You wanna start now?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
whatever,
Let's
yeah.
do it.
We'll test our knowledge, we'll probably fail miserably, but we'll try, so.
If
We'll
I don't know,
we'll
I'm
come
just
to a
gonna-
conclusion, we'll come to, if you don't know what.
I'm just gonna walk out there and
We can do it. Let Jay, can you, Jay researches.
What are we doing?
Well, I mean, if you have
Other
something that
man.
you're interested in having looked at, we'll be happy to take a look at it and see if we can give you a
They
value.
were ahead of us, everybody was ahead of us.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, we'll learn something too.
Yeah, because we're interested
Want
in
me to
listening.
go come up
too.
there?
Yeah, sure, yeah, I'm not really sure of how it would go, but, yeah, go for it.
Okay.
So this is where it gets fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's unusual stuff.
I love to, yeah, we had, actually, after the last one, we had some people come in with some really cool stuff, it was a lot of fun seeing it, so it was really neat.
Never looked.
Yep,
There you go.
That's
should bring my
international sterling.
Okay,
yeah, so this is exactly what we were talking about.
this is exactly what we're saying.
I got a whole set for 12.
Okay, all set for 12, all right.
So it's really all about the weight on stuff like this, so it's gonna be, like, for example, I mean, I can tell you what one fork weighs and what the actual value is of that fork. And I'll tell you what we actually get for it.
I got, okay, the whole set, and includes all the serving pieces.
Yeah, okay, so that's gonna be different, but the fork is this size, right? The fork this size is going to be,
Hold on, so it's-
what is it? Yeah, what else is it?
So what we would get if we turned it into the refinery, I'm just telling you what we would get for it, okay?
Musket
It would be
balls?
$37.
Musket balls?
Well, that's what I was thinking, but I don't know, I found
So
it
you
in the
got 100
parking
leaves,
lot.
Then you got $37.
And then I thought maybe it was sinkers for fishing, I
No,
don't
but you know what
know.
I mean.
I got the
That's why I
whole
thought they
set.
might
Okay,
know.
so let's do a place setting.
It's
okay?
different size
You have a
balls.
place setting for
That
12.
Would it
outer
be-
part is
one
just a
place-
four hole.
Pieces, the
And this is
pies.
gonna be.
Hard to get,
Okay.
Broken off, right?
Let me
Broken
just
off.
explain to them on this.
Yes.
So
my
these are
guess
stainless
is musket
steel,
balls.
okay?
That would be
The
cool,
blades
wouldn't
on
it?
the handles
I'm
are
hoping
all-
it
or
is.
The blades and the knives are all
I don't
stainless.
know. If
Yeah.
So what it is
My
you got
guess were
basically a
ball
hollow
bearings,
shell
I don't know.
over
Yeah,
a
it could
piece
be
of
something
cement
more
with a
modern,
metal
you know?
that goes up.
But I
So
thought maybe
we-
they could take a
we
guess.
factor these in at 1/4 ounce per handle. So we don't weigh them because there's too much other metals. So we take all these, take them at
And
1/4
then
ounce.
and then we'll add this at a 1/4 ounce. So one place setting,
Is about $94.50 for these three pieces. That's what we get, again, that's what, when we turn it in, I'm being honest with you, what we get. So it's about $100.
Theoretically, it's $100.
Yeah, with this.
You don't have to go to the bank this week.
Yeah, with another 1/4 ounce, you'd probably be maybe like $105.
Okay,
We would probably pay about $90
so
per piece.
so it's $1,200.
As long as
That's
you got that.
including the serving pieces.
no,
Would-
Say
That does not include
$1,300.
stuff. It could be. You really have to get a full weight on it and make sure that all of them weigh the same, you know, and that's probably about what you're looking at. But that's a full out retail that we get when we turn it into refinery.
Okay, this is Janori. That my mother bought that in Italy. She was born in Italy.
all right, so now I love this, right? But the only problem is when we try to sell it, we pack it and we ship it, about 5 times out of 10, it comes broken.
Yeah.
So everybody complains, so we stopped buying the
Glassware in China, very
Glassware in
complicated.
China.
So it's not worth anything?
It,
No, I
it
didn't
still
say
has
that.
value, you just gotta find that right person, and
This
it's
is
difficult
unbelievable.
to sell.
She's got everything, the celery boat, the whole thing.
And it's got a cool, it's got a great marking. Now, here's the thing too, okay? Now, you look at this, my mom, grandmother, had stuff like this right now. What kids do you know that are moving into a house, they're gonna want that? I'm just being honest. That's the
It's
problem.
not the beauty, it's
That's a
Yeah,
good point.
yeah,
That, exactly, but
yeah.
to you, yes, but there's not a lot of people that think like you think.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I was
But I wish they did,
Oh,
and it's
I
a
know.
beautiful piece.
So it's not,
You gotta find the right person.
Gotta find the right person.
You probably gotta get it into a live auction locally.
before I
Okay,
go,
breakable.
are you interested in playbills? You know, some
Yeah,
Broadway?
yeah, of course. Definitely. Are they just smaller, like?
Well, they were in the 1950s, when I lived in New York City.
Yeah.
And one of them has Harry Belafonte's
Autograph,
Very
sure.
cool, very cool.
So are you interested in
Of
those?
course, yeah.
Okay. I got a whole load.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
I wouldn't expect $1 million on them, but definitely, you know,
No, I-
anywhere from 50 cents to a couple dollars each, and then if you got the autograph, it'll be worth more.
Yeah, I know you, yeah. I belong to a women's club, maybe we
Okay.
could have you.
Well, then here, take a couple more cards.
Yeah.
Take more, all the women. All the women at the club.
Bring 'em out.
I'll have to talk to them.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Well, definitely, if you ever wanna cash in on those, let us know.
That's good.
Yeah.
Don't forget your place
Pay
setting
the
there.
rugs, pay the rugs.
Oh, my God. Thank you,
Oh,
thank you
thank you
guys.
for bringing that in,
Thank
that was
you.
really cool to see.
Yeah, that's nice to see. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Good guy.
Okay, I hope so.
So that's worth.
This is something I found.
That's awesome.
I don't know what it is.
Bullet.
I know, so I was gonna give it to my daughter.
That's what I was
and
thinking.
I
It's
don't
for
know.
lures, I bet you.
I know, well, I thought it was for lures at first, but
Never know.
it was for like musky.
All right, who remembers these?
Yeah.
I think it's sinkers.
Like sinkers.
Is it sinkers?
I think it's
I would say
Fishing?
sinkers, yeah.
I don't know.
No, I would figure it was in the Bill Gray's parking lot in Walpole.
Oh, you found it?
Come on.
Come on, what was that?
Yeah.
Come on, man, that's
I thought
awesome.
it was unique, so I grabbed it.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be, and that would be for the size.
So
Yeah,
somebody makes their own.
a lot of people still do it.
But still neat.
Do they? Yes.
I wouldn't pour lead into that, but yeah, they still do.
You found it?
These were my. Came out to get a
Dice.
brochure, and I'm looking down by the car and I noticed
They all
that on the, somebody must have dropped it. I was hoping it was from
They
Muscle.
don't have all the ear tags in it.
We're just wondering.
Godmother.
Sure. I have a bunch of these in the store right now, actually. I have all mohair. The ear tags are a big thing, they always mark with ear tags. You don't always find them. I would say usually like the ones I have in the store, like each one of them, and they're all around the same, yeah, this is. We've looked at those, they range in price anywhere from $25 a
People
piece up to
can
$100.
want to restore.
So I mean, it really depends on the size, the condition.
They're all just
What are
a
you saying? People restore old.
collection he had as a kid.
Fantastic.
You actually have this?
Yeah, they played with them.
There he is.
Oh,
I thought he was gone.
Who was German, and were your parents German?
I like him.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
German for sure.
But your aunt came, she worked in New York City.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Out of my
Birthday
mother-in-law's
gift.
attic.
Oh.
I put the, so I wouldn't have to take them apart.
Uh-huh.
I would say, I would say, you know,
We'll bring them up sometime.
yeah, if you wanna bring up sometime, what we'll do is we'll look up each one individually.
Oh, yeah, that's nice, right?
Yeah.
You know, conditions will rough on somebody.
Yeah, they're all.
Okay. Definitely a few hundred plus at least. So, and I'll show you the ones I got, I probably got some of the same ones.
What are your hours?
10 till 5, Monday through Saturday.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we would definitely be interested. We'll look them up individually.
Perfect, thank you.
Well, you can bring it in.
Oh,
I don't know.
all right, let's see.
The old puzzles. We do a lot with puzzles, but generally character related. We like stuff, you know, Disney puzzles, Lone Ranger, things of that nature. But yeah, no, they're very cool. I would say unfortunately, they're probably not gonna have a lot of resale or
You
monetary
can walk
value.
around too if you
I
don't.
like that.
Get
Better
around.
around.
Yeah, well, I volunteer up here
Yeah.
too.
You know, you're probably,
So.
somewhere on eBay, something like this is probably hit or miss, $10 to $20 per puzzle.
Yeah, I didn't figure they were anything very, the finger of my mother-in-law's attic.
But it's cool to have the original box. This is what I like.
Yeah,
The original boxes are the
Then I
coolest
glued
part.
down or anything,
Yep.
they just,
That's fantastic.
Did she do this with the staple
No,
line?
I did
Oh, you
this.
did that, okay, cool.
just, they
See,
really tight to hold.
See, yeah, we learned.
Just, yeah, exactly, I know. Just having that as a family heirloom is worth much more than.
You're part of the family?
Yeah, I'm her nephew.
Okay, so do you work at the store too?
I do.
I don't think we've ever seen it.
I handle all like packing, shipping, stuff like that.
Okay. Do they pack and ship a
I've never
lot
been able to find out.
out?
Oh, that's right.
For those
Looks like a
online
fridge.
things, they,
Yeah, I think,
people buy it.
I think last, well, Tuesday I had to ship out about
That's not- okay.
230 packages.
Let's see, hold on. We're gonna find
So
out
people
right
all
now.
over the
Oh, maybe like a switch.
country?
Yeah, I shipped some to Texas, California, and so on and so forth.
It
Uh-huh.
is Victorian collar crimper.
There it is.
Somebody wants it.
Congratulations.
Collar cripper.
You know, more than we
Oh
need.
my
That's
goodness.
wild.
But you're right, it is missing the.
Yeah, it is missing the crank on the side there, yeah.
So it makes a collar.
Did
Did it really?
Well, there's one on eBay right now, and you can buy it for $60.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, so, but it's a cool
That's
piece,
nice.
great display piece and a neat conversation piece. Where's the call? For sure.
Right there on that.
Google's our friend.
Tim Hortons.
So what'd you do, take a picture of that and then go online?
Yeah, I used Google Lens on that one because I knew that it would pull something up similar.
What do you do? Take a picture, do what? You put it on Google?
No, yeah, kind of. It'll actually link it directly to an auction site. that I'm
Thank
part
you
of.
for bringing that.
So, thank you. That
That's
was
really
cool.
neat, I've never seen one.
I've never seen one
Keep
either.
us
I like it, that was really cool.
Collar crimper.
You have to tip it, guys.
You see how much quality was put into
Yeah,
that?
I mean, cast iron, come on.
I'll
I mean,
You push it.
Doesn't get any better than that.
This is my friend
You
Jenny.
got it?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Good. I
We have to pull it out.
don't know.
Yeah, we'll check
Oh,
it out.
that's simple.
That's herringbone, I can tell by looking at that, that's just 14 karat. And there's no reason to really wear it, you got some dings in it, you know, so the weight of it is where your money's probably going.
Oh, all right.
Let's see if it
The
is.
cap off, you know.
Yeah, I
It
really-
looks like it, but.
I think it is. It was a gift. And I get several.
Did you want a cup?
So this one.
Yeah, if you're not warm.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, this one will not be. This one's Monet, which is a great costume,
Custom
Get
costume
costume,
jewelry.
okay.
but really
Right,
cool.
this one?
Sure.
Monet. Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah, you have.
But if you got a lot of pieces and don't wear them, cash out, gold's over 2,000
I have a
pounds.
charm, but it's a.
2,000 was
So that was 14. So something
I didn't
like
hear.
this.
So we got one earring, that's where they go. Think you're
And again, I'm giving you full out pricing, I'm not giving you an offer.
No, I would come to your store.
Yeah, the melt weight on it's $110.75. So that's the melt weight for something that's pretty light.
Wow.
So it's pretty good.
And I have the,
Yeah, no.
Maybe as much as other restaurants.
Where is that little movie
We
gonna
have a
be?
whole bunch of my stores.
Where do they post it on the museum site or the?
Well, we're doing this one.
bracelet,
Yeah.
I have one like that, but it's a
Don't know
nine.
if they'll post it after Webster says it's
It
actually.
has a little chain on
Okay,
it.
yeah, no, I volunteer here.
We can check them out
Oh, I
too,
know.
so for sure, really.
The last one I got,
Okay,
so nice.
No,
Nice.
come in.
well, thanks for doing that.
My friend called me and she said,
Well, are they worth
I
it?
can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, let me rephrase myself. I had, actually had some experience on They still smell.
Kids.
Goodness,
Some kids,
but they're giving
you know
us
about
better
the
flowers than I had at the beginning.
Right.
And I bought
They're
some
all in the
flowers
original
from
boxes?
somebody else.
Oh,
And,
They range in price just like anything else. Based on which doll it is, because some are
sometimes
limited.
stuff in there.
So there's a bug.
Yes, it's very
And I do
different.
get,
Yep.
So I pulled the roses out.
thank you so much.
Yeah, so at least you have an idea, and if you ever want to just take a look at it,
Yeah, but you know
never
what?
any pressure in our store. you
Roses
understand
will
that.
dry out.
I'm familiar with the bear.
and I saved, I've got a full of roses.
No, oh, okay, yeah, as soon as you get into China, that's when
Yeah,
I
right, well, you said no, you
phase out,
don't do
yeah.
China. That's right, thank you, thank
Anything
you.
glassware, China, we.
I think I used up my time.
These are
Like that 6-year-old.
today's dollars. You can still use it like.
No, mine.
This is, you get at the bank.
Still get them at the bank.
Presidential dollars, worth $1 each.
Okay, so it's,
I think of that guy, Walter.
Don't feel bad about it, there's money, we'll sell you more for face value.
And this one's right around. what would you say,
He's still trying to get out of it.
21
And
count.
1921 is the most common, it's the last date they made. This is the American Morgan dollar. And in 1921, it started making the
But
peace
aren't
dollars,
they
and they
from-
changed the format. So the most
Take it up to them and say,
minted
look.
in history of this year, so they're about $20.
Now, they just
So
cash
these
it in
dollars
and go
started in
away.
21, this is 1922.
Do it.
To come and date, probably about 22.
Whatever makes you.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you wanna keep it.
Okay.
That was in the pension and gave it
They don't, they don't take up a lot of room either, hon, so you can put them in the drawer or whatever you gotta do. until
Okay, thank
you
you.
want to.
How's it going?
Well, go to Wegmans.
What
can I buy for $3?
I did smell beer.
Well, one of them.
Is it in here?
Not worth
Yeah.
anything?
These are $3.
Oh, they,
Yeah.
I can spend these.
Yeah, I remember those, the Harley Davidson.
Harley Davidson.
These are
Billy beer.
one is $20 and the
$20 a
other
piece, I'd say.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the beer can. Yeah, the Billy beer was really
Yeah,
popular back in the
they had a little-
a neighbor.
Yeah.
In Silver Spring.
Well, you know, I like.
Yeah, and so they give them to the boys were real little.
Oh, you can throw them out.
One to Oliver and one to
What
Henry.
the lady talking about?
Oh, these are cool.
No, pearl.
I think I'm gonna, I think Stephen forgot about these. He knew, a long time ago, I told him about it, I showed them, but I'm gonna show them to Stephen. I think we'll just keep them for the boys. I don't know, it's like my son, what we should do. Yeah. I don't know.
What was he saying about pearl?
They're not worth, they're not worth anything.
They're not?
It's made well, probably in.
Why?
Yeah, it's just-
They're hard to grade, because people don't know if they're real or fake.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the old telegraph machines.
Yeah. I've got
what
some real
about
ones.
Biwa pearls?
I don't know.
You don't know, are you familiar with that?
No.
No, okay.
So,
You wanna see this, Frank?
Yeah,
anyways,
they're, no, these are.
No.
This is- yeah.
How much are they?
Take your, Google.
one is worth 20 and the other
He
is.
says pearl, she says, you got my gloves here. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
They say pearls are not worth
It's a
anything.
case.
Oh, I see.
I was wondering about Biwa pearls.
Yeah, case knives are one of the best.
Especially, I was gonna say, especially being this.
Yeah, that's why I want to get rid of
This is
this.
a fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a fantastic knife.
Well, you have to do around.
These, I think these can have some pretty decent value.
Okay, you wanna go?
Sure.
I think this here.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it
I'll have
is.
to go there.
$60 for something like that. Do you have any
Oh,
more
yeah.
of the
Oh, yeah.
telegraph style machines? I have two.
Because the last one, almost every person that was here went to the store.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll follow, because I got points.
Well, it's interesting, and his,
Yeah, that's what I'm looking
the
for.
guy with the coins and jewelry on this side, and then you have to go around. Because I just found it last time, and where Frank's stuff is, all the
You know what I need?
advertising and toys and stuff like that.
Oh, I have some of those.
Yeah, well, they're the same store, yeah. I don't know why they left it long. Maybe it was.
Yeah, right. You're looking, yep, you're pretty much looking at something that, similar to what I'm looking at right now. Exactly. Yep. This one's made by a company called Vibroplex. Yeah, so
I'm still excited to look at.
this one is pretty
So
similar.
excited to see what
Again, without that nameplate, it makes it a
Can you
little bit
imagine
tougher.
growing up? I think she had all boys.
So I,
I mean, this, they're asking $510 for something like this, on eBay, so I mean, you gotta find a sold listing, and you gotta make sure you identify it,
it's
but.
like my, yeah, that kind of stuff.
Well,
Well,
what
we
was your
definitely would be
item?
interested, but we definitely do need to do a little more research on it. Yeah, mine, I'll grab your number, you can grab my card, I'll take a picture of it. I'll do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
This is one thing I
My
got
goodness.
years ago when I first started working for the state.
Yeah.
And a couple of circuits, this old guy.
Oh, yeah.
on a TV show.
Do you have someone?
And that's
Took
it.
a shine and that's a 54
So this is the actual box, the tube is in there?
Yeah.
Is it a glass tube or is it a canister? Oh, okay, I won't take it out, I just wanna, I like the glass tubes personally, I think they look.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Very, very cool. Yeah.
You got a lot of stuff.
It's, I saw it.
There's got beer in my hand. Last night.
I was gonna say, that's not the first time that happened.
But,
Oh, I
This
got
was,
you. Yeah, so they're already in the area.
yeah, anything
Yeah.
old advertising like this, very cool. I personally have a liking, for anything advertising like this. But again, it doesn't depend on
No.
probably, if someone's willing to pay $5, $10.
Really?
Yeah, she's a real collector. She was gonna come today, but they went skiing and they got tired.
There's only in my family, there's one, and the rest are all minimalist.
Oh, yes. She's one.
Back the dumpster up to the door.
Yeah, she's one of them.
Yeah, that's exactly what something like from the 1980s, I mean, it's
Yeah.
90s, yeah.
Still works.
Yeah, I don't really know on something like that, that's just kind of one of those unique,
It's
kind of,
kind of art
I don't know if you want to call it collectible or kind of like some pioneer
I have all these.
of the time for what it is.
Our family, yeah.
Not so much on the die cast, again, these were kind of made to be collected, made to be held on to. They probably wouldn't command much, these are probably made by
I haven't
locals.
touched
Yeah,
them.
they are, yeah, they're.
I know
There's a
Sina's
couple
gone
bucks,
up
not
to
too
get a
much,
couple,
something like this. I
and
think
then
your
when his
winner
friend-
is probably
friend-
this
one.
this piece
Christmas
here.
time, Arthur.
So, and I definitely would be interested, so.
Yeah.
I took a picture of it, yeah, stop by and bring it back, and if you wanna move these advertising pieces, I would definitely make an offer on that as well.
I mean, you can
Whatever you're
use
looking
it
for, I'd
as
buy
a-
them, just
but
whatever you're looking for on them.
Very
And I'll just display them.
And
You'll see, I got
Rick
tons of
mentioned
this kind of stuff there, so.
Arthur, because he's a physicist, and he's a college in, Michigan. But then there's so many others. I'm really gonna get on, I'm starting.
Well, you still have it.
Wow, those guns are fun. I think I have one of those.
Oh my gosh, aren't those wild?
I love
Those are cap guns, yeah, cap pistols.
These are metal too.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, these are, I mean, they're difficult to even test nowadays. You actually have to have a chassis just to test them.
Like these that my grandfather.
Yeah, but the tube testers won't always work with stuff like this. You know?
It's an old one.
Yeah, yeah.
Large.
Well, each one has to, the tube testers
My
will
mom,
work
that's
Tell
with
me
it.
which
Oh,
one.
she really? That's cool.
Yeah, they're
He
really
said
good.
many times, even if you can't use
She's been cleaning
them,
out lately.
you can tell me
Yeah, I keep
whether
going,
to
what,
get rid
what
of
are
them.
you getting
Oh,
rid of?
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly. Don't throw anything out. Never throw anything out.
Places over at the U of R.
Yeah, these are made by a company called Britain. The beer, again,
Or
I mean,
some of them
yeah, I
might
mean,
just
we
have
probably
to be
have
thrown
these
out.
cans right now, just advertise a couple bucks,
Yeah,
nothing
just don't
major.
know.
I don't
Want to
know.
sell them, you just want a couple?
No.
No, we'll take
And I mean, I
when you come
can't
down to the
ask
shop.
you.
I'll make an offer on it.
So much on it.
All right,
Yeah.
definitely.
Get a pig.
Yeah, be careful, that these will explode.
I don't want to
Yeah,
It only doesn't work.
You know, they're the Jimmy Buffett would
quickly.
be upset. It's a top hat.
Yeah.
Right, right,
They
right.
cut his foot in, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I don't want that. And I know Steve.
That it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Yeah, I
thank
like
you.
that sound.
Thanks for bringing that, it's really cool.
That's really neat, thank you.
Yeah, I
Even
just,
Steve
you know,
being so
that,
close.
I like that,
No,
Yeah, well, it's cool to see all this is still around.
I know, I know.
so
This is
I'm
what we look for. when we-
real, this is here, if I can just get a little,
No, it's got the crack,
like, if I can
Yeah.
get a
None of
handle
these
of
are
books, and I can get rid
Right.
of most of
Online,
the
it's
books.
a
that
crack.
would
They get
be
worn
fine.
pretty quick, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah,
I'm starting,
Yeah,
I don't know
nice.
yet, but I am
All right,
hopefully
so-
this week.
Yes, nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Here, I'll take
And
it.
again,
Hello.
we gotta go.
So you got some of that cool stuff.
Thanks, June.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Well, and before I can.
I mean,
I
I
mean, I
Learn
can
just a little bit about your
show
stuff,
this,
right?
like,
Yeah, I
stuff,
love
the
consolidate.
brown seals.
So then,
New York
when I
is
go
down
through,
against
like,
Boston.
I've gone through most of my Christmas stuff, I had to put them back on the shelf.
Condition's a big factor when
Because
it comes
I
to
need
these
room,
wheels and pin hitters.
you know, I
Okay.
have to
So they always have
decide
full
what I'm
wheels.
keeping and where I'm
You got a
gonna put
grader
it.
and then place them on the quarter.
But I mean, they're.
Oh, I
Pretty much, I mean, aside from the forwards, they're some shit.
The one over there, that's already all shop, so-
Yeah.
But I did
Search on this
Yeah,
Just the remote, work,
yeah.
so you know enough to.
So where,
Are you sure it just keep?
out of curiosity, where,
We were out the bank,
Oh, that's
and
great.
this stuff was in the bank.
That's fantastic.
I wanna go to that bank.
Yeah, I wanna go there too.
Oh, you did?
His mom is recently went into nursing home.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing that.
They were in second
Ink
In
culture.
this,
I don't know, I'll let you know.
Oh my goodness, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
guess
no,
around
I-
one
I
and a
would
quarter
be
for that,
like
but I'm
10
not trying to get rid of it.
Extension phone.
10,
They charge
yeah,
you for-
just to be
Yes.
Okay, so that's fine. See, this is the same, this is, half and, these in today's market are,
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
we're walking, it's what we have.
I know, and I just
So we
finished
got-
it.
More of a,
When you're paying rent.
So,
And so you can't be able to.
yeah.
So the silver content is worth
You know,
$16.72
you gotta be able to
per
get rid of it,
dollar.
otherwise.
So for each two, if you had two of these, you get $16.
Yeah, I know.
It's worth about $8.
And so in that case, it doesn't matter if they
Oh, yeah.
questions that they're
Doesn't
in.
matter the condition, doesn't make one bit of difference.
Like some of them are like really,
good mark.
Doesn't make any difference. It's
And
all,
for every dollar, it is,
same thing as with Franklin.
these are, there's some dimes right now.
This camera work.
So she might have
It's
some
too bad you
mercury.
can't see
It's
what's
probably
going on.
outdated, the
So
date.
in different eras in time, they changed the face. Yep.
Oh, yeah. So buffalo nickels are,
Not
we
so
sell them for about 40 cents.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they're
can make
not, you know,
So a nickel with a buffalo on
It's
it.
very
Yes.
common.
And
And
Indian
the big thing
knife.
about
I got a
coins
question.
is the high
Yeah.
points of the coin wears first. Like if
I don't
if you
even wanna
put this
go
in
to
your pocket and it's rubbing against other
Webster.
change in your pocket, the high points are what's gonna wear off first.
And I-
With the buffalo nickels, the
You know,
whole
and I
nickel's
said,
high points, so
Margie,
that usually the date wears right off, so they're usually dated.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's
She
like,
said,
they're just not an
"When I go,
attractive coin, they don't
just
carry
let
a
my
lot of
nephews
numismatic
handle
value.
it.
But this kind of stuff,
I can't
silver,
do
no
that.
problem.
I
You got
said,
any
"Well,
key
I
dates?
can't." No, I don't
Again,
think
the key
that's
dates
right.
would be,
No, I can't do that.
Yep.
Have you got a stamp?
Kennedy
like,
has
you gotta be back in the
1964,
19 teens on the water. So like 1916.
and then 65 through 60.
You know, there's a 1919 S, there's a couple of different dates that, you know, you can always, take them individually. We get a red book of coins that'll pull up every single key date. There's even, semi-key dates.
Yeah,
You know,
I
so they're
prefer
limited
to maybe.
time.
Jake, it's gonna take how
I'd
long
say
to
that's,
do
time
these?
for,
Today?
it's gonna be 90%.
90%
Yep.
and 65
Figure out how to
percent.
get this to me, I don't know if that's anything.
This is just a first day cover, so this is just a stamp, it's the first.
Oh, I
They would
have
release
one
a
of
first day
those.
cover
Oh,
when they would
my
release a
mom
new
has
stamp.
one. I
each year.
have one.
And
I have one
this
too.
is
Yeah, I still use mine.
basically,
Yeah, trade now and then.
sometimes they would
Look
put
at
commemorative coins with coppers, whatever, so usually like $1 or $2. They're very common, yeah. Even going back into the early 1900s when they first started doing it, you know, people would
And
bring
then,
in
did you
boxes
see the
of
back?
them. It's really-
We're starting to love that bag.
Yeah, right. Those are,
You know,
oh, do you mind if I look at the? Thanks. They look like they're sterling, but they could just be. I'll show you. You gotta kind of see what the content is.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, these are, it's like something released by like Franklin Mint, and this one was the National Museum of History and Mineralogy. Does it say what they are, guy?
No.
What they're made by? Or made out of?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they have marks.
Cool. See if you can get one out and look on the edge. They should fall right out.
Oh, wait a minute, there you go, Frank.
Oh, okay, perfect. That's what you're looking for, exactly.
Maybe.
That'll tell us what the content.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the US Mint, Department of the Treasury.
I see it.
That should tell us what
It is.
the bottom line is, if they're not a precious metal, they're probably not gonna be worth much.
Okay.
So it's definitely based on whether or not they are a precious metal. Same. Looks like just replicas of different war metals.
Now, if
Should
there
be a
are,
mark on that.
there will be mark on the edge if there's any kind of,
Oh, I have an ironing board like that.
Doesn't look like it, I mean, they would definitely be remarked.
unfortunately, I don't see any mark.
We can always test them in the shop, you can scratch, oh, you could put a scratch test right here, if you wouldn't mind us putting a scratch in the corner of it. It's completely up to you.
Thanks, Rick, for doing that.
I don't think you can tell by just the way they scratch.
How, Peter, as usual, you're inaccessible, you know?
So if it is silver, it will go
He was
like a
home.
Bright
bright
fluorescent
blue.
blue.
Upstairs.
Oh, okay.
That's the reaction that the acid will have.
His
to the
wife
metal.
was home.
And unfortunately, no, it's not really coming up with any
No.
type of reaction. So if I scratch like your silver
Please.
$half there,
yeah.
you would see it would kind of come up like a fluorescent pop color.
Huh?
Oh, okay.
That's
Oh,
the
they're getting
reaction
ready to
that
go.
come with the silver. So I would say they're probably like pewter, or
Yeah, I know.
who knows what they're made out of.
Yeah, he told me yesterday.
Some sort of
Here.
an alloy, and just made to be collected as a commemorative piece. Not too much interest for us on something like that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you want some grapes?
Like grapes. I would say there's usually not a coin that we haven't seen before.
Uh-huh.
What is it?
A coin I've never seen before. US, look at that. It says
I didn't see this.
1 cent on it. It's some sort of a, I don't know, it's gotta be. You gotta be kidding. What is it? That's right. I never seen it before. It says 1 cent on it. Is it Filipino?
Oh,
That's just not, maybe
Yeah.
it's not US, but I bet it's Philippines.
Pop it, maybe.
Okay. That could be what it is.
Where's the back?
Yeah, I bet you, because they did a lot of.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, he loves, he likes that stuff. We've had quite a few of those come in. I'm just gonna do a quick search on this, just because I believe this is.
You sure can?
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Let me just see if Jan needs to know. I
Look
will,
at that eagle on this one.
I'm gonna just ask her.
That is just so cool.
And then just give me one more
Yeah.
second on this.
And I'll let you know, yeah, tomorrow, I think it's gonna be a while for her.
Well, I know, I was gonna talk to him, but I don't know.
Payments suspended.
What are hard times tokens generally?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always.
They're all different. It all depends on the art. It all depends on, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It really does. They're all different. But look at the eagle on that one. That's really cool.
Yeah.
You can probably, here, why don't you just do that?
Yeah, I'm going to on that.
For territory coins. 1944, 1966.
How's your wife, Rick?
Good.
Good? You're just the one that got sick there?
Yeah, she's,
Hanging in there?
huh?
She's hanging in there.
Yeah.
Good.
Take care.
Yes, they're coming, I'm gonna.
So these
So
are
this
kind
is,
of.
this is a hard times token.
Yeah, I will. Well, we won't know anything till we.
Yeah.
Exactly what it is.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
It's
sure.
Amex, that's a
Okay,
very
take care.
popular,
Okay, carefully now.
Yeah.
gold and silver company.
Jan, can I help
See
you
what
do
it's sold
something?
for,
All I'm doing
but
is
it,
picking up.
definitely
I'll take my
recommends
roses home.
Oh, yeah.
That's another-
And we may as well take this home too.
What?
Great sheet.
I don't, yeah, I guess I
I
could.
think I'm gonna have just a little bit of,
Is it really?
you know what I mean? Yeah, did you have anything?
Really cool.
Did you have anything?
I hear it's
Polished, but it's neat.
Yeah, this is still warm.
Stax Bowers is an auction company that deals specifically in coins. They're one of the top auction companies in the world. So see if they have a sold listing of this. Sold for $480. This one was slab, like, you know, they certified.
So good.
And this one, this gets sold for $480.
Okay.
Wow. That's pretty
Exact
impressive
same
with that
coin.
coin though.
And
honestly.
yours is in pretty nice shape as well.
Trash can around?
I mean, that's the one that was graded in slab. It's pretty similar.
Maybe, oh, wait a minute.
And this one
Oh,
came
do you
in
want it
MS
stirred?
MS61's
No,
MS61's
trash
a
can.
really high grade coin. I can't, it's almost impossible with it, even with a trained eye to determine an MS state coin.
Uh-huh.
But I would say you're darn close. I mean, probably in that
Yeah.
range.
Jan,
You
is your
have to get
car
slabbed
unlocked?
and graded to get those numbers.
Do you want me to carry any of this
No,
out?
I'm giving that to him.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything I can carry out to your
No,
car?
no, that's all right.
I have a fun.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you try that?
I'm not
Nope,
taking
I'm gonna
lemon
do that as
eagle.
well. Some of this stuff is a little unusual, so I apologize that we don't know off the top of our heads.
I apologize, but I'm excited. I love to see stuff that I
Yeah,
haven't seen
stuff
before.
that we don't see is what we look for.
And then like these types of things that they come
Okay,
in
so
like
those
this?
I have in the store.
Okay.
So that's kinda cool. I
Those are-
sell those for I think it's $15.
You have fun looking
They're
this.
basically
40%
40% sold.
Okay.
We got a
Take
dollar.
care.
76.
Bye now.
Have you learned
Yeah.
that?
Is it, there's a $1.75 in face?
I think it's $15.
Some things I do, I
Yeah, I mean, they
already
melt
knew how
at
to.
12 and
Oh, really?
So the
Yeah.
melt price.
Because you're
melted
interested
down
in
to the
that?
silver content, it's
Yeah.
$12.25.
I already,
We get a little premium over it, so that's probably great.
Oh, yeah, you could do that, Phyllis. Thank you very
We got a
much.
bunch of those, they add up. We do those in the auction all the time.
eBay stuff.
They're pretty popular.
Uh-huh.
So I already knew how to handle eBay.
That's a pain.
It really is.
eBay, no, I used to, but I don't do it anymore. I just go on and check prices. But there's nobody buying
Oh, there we
almost,
go.
Yeah, people are very picky these days.
because
150, someone was asking.
it can be.
about, so-
There's a lot of other sites they can look at, you know.
A lot of auction sites and so on and so forth.
This one's got a little bit of wear
Yeah.
to it.
And like, If I'm gonna get rid of
That's one thing,
something, then
definitely
it's
don't
not
ever
gonna go to
clean or polish
eBay.
or try to do
I'm gonna
anything.
go
else
to
or do it
Craigslist
the
or
right way.
Facebook page,
Someone's
Marketplace.
asking 150 for the same one. in
Because
similar
usually people
condition.
come pick it up too.
So,
I handle the shipping fees.
we should be able to find any of the coins that you bring in.
Packing it.
He's got a pocket watch.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
wow, look at that. That's an oldie.
What's it got?
What?
I know. We gotta see what you got. Wow, look at that. What's he got? Oh, nice.
German.
Is Is that red gold?
Kinda cool. Well, you can find that out. It is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell by doing
That's what I
that.
was
So
always
just pop the
told.
bag.
That was-
Now watch this.
That's 100% guaranteed gold, probably 18 karat, based on the color.
Do you take red gold with?
Red gold, you mean rose gold?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all gold.
And-
Doesn't matter the color.
Eh,
The higher the carat though, the more yellow it is. The
Oh.
way you can tell in pocket watches whether or not they're gold is if you take your thumb and you push on that. I mean,
Yeah,
you can
it's-
squeeze it
it
pretty hard.
flexes. It's
Exactly,
not hard,
because
yeah.
gold's a precious metal. They're gonna use as little as possible. So, I mean, they're gonna make it as thin as they can. This one's not. and it's
See?
harder. So,
That's an interesting point.
guaranteed gold in there, most likely.
You gotta make it as thin as they can.
I could tell your
Do you
gold.
have the key?
Is it in that, is it in the, I don't think so. Last, from what, and this is either my grandfather's or my great.
You're dying to see this, aren't you, Frank?
For what I was told was that it was not over,
Okay, it's 13 jewels.
Okay, so it's a low quality
It's a
watch
very
as
low
far as that
quality,
goes,
like
but who
as far
cares? You know?
It is, okay.
Does
that's
it have a
really cool.
winder? Oh, you got
No,
the
it's
key.
in the
You need
key in the back,
Yeah.
which is fine. That's not a big deal. I'm just gonna open this. Okay? Now this cool part should tell me if it's ever been worked on before at least.
Excuse me, can I ask you, could you help me take that sign in?
How does that,
Okay.
as far as jewels, what's the?
Basically, the lowest quality watch would be 10, 12 jewels. They go up to 27, up to 30 in that range. And the more jewels, the more intricate, the more work that goes into it, the more detailed it is, and the more accurate it is. And the longer it should last.
Mhm.
So it's just like anything else, the more work's put into it, the better quality. This is, it's definitely, like I said, it's gold, so you got that going for you either way, You could tell, open up like one that's got a little higher jewels and you'll see the difference in the.
Have you ever opened up the back like that?
No.
No? It's pretty cool, isn't it?
I was very afraid to.
Oh, I'm sorry, geez.
No,
I was looking at a heart attack.
You know what you're doing, I wouldn't know what I was doing.
Trying to get one of these open here, Trey. Can you punch that middle one open just to show them? This is gonna be probably a 17 to 21 jewel, probably, something like that.
There you go.
So you'll see, oh, that's a cheap one. Forget it, I'm wrong. This is, yeah, this is.
No, I like yours much better.
This is only 10. This is really low. Try this one, show you the better one. Right, these pops too. Ow.
Let's see.
Yeah, anyways, we're just gonna kind of show you how it gets a little bit more intricate as you get more jewels in it. But I mean, at the very least, you got,
Janet, the flags are in and also the sign.
Oh,
If you can
you
gentlemen help
got
me with the sign.
600 to
'cause I
700 gold.
couldn't-
At the very least. And that's just
Okay,
because
take
you
care.
have the
Thank
gold sitting in your hand, you know what I mean? The way we figure that out is generally it's about 30% of the overall weight. Because your movement is pretty heavy, yeah. And then there's weights on the inside of this as well that kind of keep it in place,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
That's probably a little bit, that's probably like a 17 or so. Something like that. Then you can just see the difference and, just a little
Does it
bit more,
tick?
you know what I mean?
Is it
Yeah.
tick?
And then there's Ben's ones. Oh, this one here? I'm not even sure. Yep.
You just closed it.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's a pretty cool piece, man. Definitely a cool pair. Love it. Very too. Is it supposed to be dark like that?
Isn't that cool the way that works?
It always has been, unless it's just tarnished.
Wow. It could be tarnished.
I know I'm a watch geek, but man, look at that.
Yeah, that's nice.
Isn't that cool? Huh?
Yeah.
Somebody actually, if
It's
this
just like-
stopped
I
working,
could not
somebody would have to
imagine
put, you know what I mean, and work on that.
I mean, with the key and with it working, it's probably not gonna add a significant amount more value to it over the gold weight because the gold weight is already so high. I mean, you're already, like I said, $600 to $700 just in gold. So I mean, to get a watch like this, much over $1,000 is probably gonna be kinda hard with the lower jewels, but it's still a really cool piece.
That's a really neat watch.
Most places, if I sent photos to quote-unquote experts on pocket watches and asked them their opinion, most places would tell me spot, which is the gold spot price. I think that it's got more value to it than that, just because it's beautiful. I mean, the front of it's really nice, you know what I mean? if it works and if you got the key, which is really cool. We don't get a lot of wind-up ones, we get most of them just dial tone like I just did on that one. So that's kind of cool. It's a neat piece. And I think it's probably worth, like I said, upwards of about $1,000. If I were to buy it, I'd make an offer probably about $750 on cash. So if you ever decided that you wanted to sell it, bring it in and pick it up, cash.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And keep in mind too, I could be wrong on that. If you don't mind, could I take one quick photo of it? Just so I don't sound like an idiot and make sure that
I mean,
I'm at least looking at
I-
the name on
I've
it.
never had anything to look close
Yeah.
at. Is there an actual, like,
Oh, yeah, well,
brand name? or
I don't know
is
if it's
there
a brand, but it does show the hours.
Yeah, it doesn't have a name on it, like a maker's name, and it's
Yeah.
kind of, oh, it's the second hand's moving right now.
Oh, is it?
Mhm.
Didn't know
Just
that.
had a little
It
bit,
is.
yeah, the second hand's moving, so it just had a
That'd
little bit,
be
it had
kind
a
of
little bit of
miracle,
juice.
since he doesn't have a key to
No,
wind.
I know, but it had a little bit of juice in it probably.
Oh, all right.
If he moved it around.
You're gonna say if that thing starts taking, I'm out of here.
No, there's no, it's definitely a
No,
homemade,
we don't.
I think it's homemade.
No problem.
Okay.
I can't tell you exactly where it was made, you know,
Yeah.
probably not the US, because I think it looks like 18 karat to me. That's what I figured the
So
price
it's
was.
probably a European.
How about that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
watch.
I would
Independent
assume that it's
homemaker.
most likely German.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes perfect sense. Yep, common, a lot of old pocket watches that we find that are homemade are either Italy or Germany. So, yep,
Yeah,
I'd say
we'd
for
love
sure
to
it's
make an
probably,
offer,
yeah.
but keep in mind, it won't take up a lot of space in your drawer either.
Yeah, exactly,
So-
and it's always that cash sitting
And
there,
if
and
it
we
puts
tell
that
people that all the
smile on
time.
your face,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
it rocks, it's worth every
Yeah, we'll
dime.
talk to you guys about
I know.
the bills and the coins, that we'll hold on to.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
But honestly, bring those in. We'll-
Yeah,
we'll
I took
take-
one of your cards.
We'll take our
Yeah.
time with them, and we'll
Perfect.
make sure that we get prices on each one, and ones we're not 100% sure on, we'll get assistance with the
I
conditions.
had- I
Because that's one
asked
thing with
Bill
paper money condition is a
if he
really
would
important
do
factor.
the average.
So, I mean, aside from just the
No, I-
folds
no, I
and
know, I'm
the
just
holes,
telling
we wanna
you the
make sure that
story.
it's all there.
And
this
so
is a gentleman up
he
in
said,
Princeton,
yeah,
really
but then
knows
what he
all
did
that
was
stuff.
he put
A
on
good friend of mine, I can take one photo.
Facebook, and he
he'll
put it
tell
on
me
our
exactly what's
website,
Okay, great.
but he
Yep.
didn't
Thank you
put
so
it
much.
on.
Thank you.
Are these?
I wrote a letter.
No, those are just like cereal premiums, like from Cheerios.
No.
You know, you would get them in like a sheet,
No.
and then you put them together, and use them for
So
train
mine now
layouts.
would be a
Are-
little
yeah,
bit bigger.
Okay, I mean.
You would use them in
is there
layouts, though.
anything like, you know?
Worth anything?
Yeah.
Sure.
Track and.
Absolutely.
Not the track,
Oh,
no,
geez,
no to track.
Yeah,
We have people bring us in boxes of track,
Yeah.
and it's just not worthwhile, because nowadays, people get all the new track to use with their old.
No, he
you know.
wouldn't.
Oh, you can buy new.
You can buy new track.
Buy new
Yep.
track, ah.
Absolutely, and the old stuff just doesn't have that good connectivity, because it's like, get
How about
rusted
that?
and
Yeah.
corroded, so.
But as far as train stuff, yes.
The trains, for sure, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Thank you guys
Cool,
so
man.
much.
All right, thank you, that was fun.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that in,
Then I
that's
can
cool.
take one. Whenever I want.
Where you guys in Webster, or?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Very good.
we own Herman's Farm Market.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's awesome. That's where we get our stuff, me and my wife get our stuff there every spring.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.